Madam Vice President, how are you feeling about Pennsylvania?
I am feeling very good about Pennsylvania because there are a lot of people in Pennsylvania who deserve to be seen and heard. That's why I'm here in Johnstown, and I will be continuing to travel around the state to make sure that I'm listening as much as we are talking, and ultimately I feel very strongly that we've got to earn every vote, and that means spending time with folks in the communities where they live. And
is anyone else convinced?
That's why I'm here. We're going to be spending a lot more time in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, dear God, what was that? Anyways, all right, guys, I did it. I made it live. Holy smokes. Can you say technical difficulties? It's good times, huh? Anyways, good to see you guys. I already called them out. But hey, we'll do it again real quick. Toe Cramp 1, Danielle 2, Van and Plays, what's up? Bob Rand, I see lots of people. I'm not going to go through all you again. You got once, and, you're just going to have to live with it. Wicked in the house. I'll call out a few of you. It's what I do. Hobbs, Vinman, Texas Lone Star, Moody. I see Trump's calling to COVID the China virus. Yeah, he ain't scared. He's stuck in the Matrix. I pulled the Matrix out because he's stopping those bullets, man. Everything's trying to come after him, and he's deflecting left and right. He's got 2 weeks left. He's the one, baby. Can't see myself. Yeah, you're very funny. Trump will publish the Epstein list. We can hope so. That's definitely what we're hoping for. Deep State kidnapped me, not quite. What'd you guys think about last night? Did you guys enjoy that? Jonathan's going to be coming back. That was super fun to do that interview. And he's going to come back and next time do more Q&A. So it's going to be good for all that for you guys. Hopefully my feed's not choppy. I'm going direct to it now. Oh my God, the internal polling. We're going to talk about that in a minute. She took the day off today. Can you believe that? She took the day off. Tim Pool's getting married and having a baby. Well, good for him, man. That's good for Tim. I got caught by Agent Smith. I'm weaving, dodging. Yeah, you guys see this? This is so crazy. Kamala Harris taking the day off with only 2 weeks left, and she called Trump.
Kamala Harris,
tired.
She's taking the day off. She's going to spend all day just to prepare for an NBC interview, which will be taped. Of course, this would be like, you're a football coach, this would be like 2 weeks before the national championship if you decide not to practice. Does this make sense to you?
Well, I think they're just trying to keep her off camera, to be honest with you. She's been a disaster. Her poll numbers keep going down. Donald Trump is the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he does not quit. I mean, he keeps going and going and going. You know, he's called me before at 2 or 3 in the morning. Coach, what are you doing? I said, I'm sleeping. What are you doing? He sleeps 2 or 3 hours a night, but he loves what he's doing. He loves the country. He's our only chance. We can't lose this. We can't have another 4 years of this nonsense of spending money.
Trump sleeps 2 or 3 hours a night. My God, man. What an animal. I don't think he's human sometimes. I do wonder. I definitely wonder because if, you can't, how does he do that? I don't understand at his age. It's unbelievable. He doesn't eat well. His exercise, his golfing, he does everything wrong. And yet this man can't be stopped. But Kamala, it's a little too much for her, right? It's just too much. So I just can't believe it. 2 weeks. I saw that today. I was like, oh my God, we got to talk about that. And God, Lord, there's so much going on. So tonight I'm going to cover, I already talked about this. There's not much else to talk about. We're just going to laugh about it. But Biden wants to lock up Trump, and the Atlantic is trying to come up with, apparently there's a story out there that they're trying to get somebody to run with about Trump. That's supposed to be horrific. And we all know it's going to be made up. But that's probably an October surprise in the next week to expect. And then we're going to go over the current early voting and poll numbers because they are nuts, guys. This is trending in Trump's direction like we've never seen. It's better than anybody could have hoped for, honestly. Pennsylvania is a place called Pennsylvania. That's right, Apollyon. Mark Cuban next to be exposed. We'll see. X22 says Trump said MAGA's close to 200 million. That's interesting. 200 million is like half the country. Yeah, I mean, almost 2/3 of the country. Yeah, I could see that. 3 of 5, 60%. Yep. Done on purpose to make you watch 2 commercials. There you go. Last night was the favorite interview I've ever done. Thank you, ESK. I appreciate that. She quit. I don't think she quit yet. I don't think she has a chance to quit, but I think they are. You see that first clip, she's obviously just not there. She's either drunk or exhausted or something. She's just tripping. And then she took all day off today with 2 weeks left in the campaign. 2 weeks left fighting for the hardest job, biggest job in the world, and you're taking a day off with 2 weeks left. Get out of here. Like, you're like this. There's something going on for sure. They are worried. They're freaking out. The word is she keeps breaking down at places. She's yelling at people. She yelled at, apparently there was a fight with her and Tim Walz the other day where she canceled Tim Walz's wife and said that nobody likes her. She's hurting the campaign. Just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Yeah, the NBC interview was taped, so it wasn't, that wasn't live. So Red Bull endorse Trump. Yeah, right. They should call it Trump. Just like now, it'll give you wings because he's got so much energy. Michael Snow says Trump's the new age Tyler Durden if he sleeps 2 hours. Yeah. Hopefully we don't get the other side of that. There's no undecided voters left. Anybody who says that is lying. 5 memberships from Shogun. Thank you, sir. Who'd you get in? Key, Liquid Hammer, On-Site. Welcome back. Michael Lee and Gary Ball, welcome back as well. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Welcome to the membership. We'll do a members live this weekend, and join the Discord. Get that link. It's in the community tab on my page. Kamal's husband is being hit on by gross. All right, let's keep going because there is a lot of stuff going on. I also wanted to show this because this is just, in my opinion, just hugely significant. Tulsi Gabbard came out today and said that she's fully now identifying as Republican, which that really means she's gone full on MAGA, because the Republican Party is no longer what the Republicans were before. So let's listen to this real quick. It's really good.
It's because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party.
I love this because this just shows that Tulsi is all in. And, I always liked Tulsi, always respected her. I love that she was so independent. And she is now, she came over to our side, kept the independent label, was a former Democrat, even ran for president on the Democrats in 2020. But now she's full on just, I'm going to take the label, which there's more pressure that comes with that label, guys. It means that she's going to be held accountable in new ways also. And so that's huge. It's absolutely huge that Tulsi's willing to do it. Let's finish off this.
I'm joining the party of the people, the party of equality, the party that was founded to fight against and end slavery in this country. It is the party of common sense and the party that is led by a president who has the courage and strength to fight for peace.
Wow, that is powerful. I mean, we got that and they got the Cheneys. That's a pretty good trade. I would take it all day. But the fact she comes out and the way she talks about that, the party of the people, powerful party that created to stop slavery, has a president who is a president for peace. Wow. I mean, Trump and the campaign are getting stronger and stronger by the day to close this out as Kamala is napping. Yeah, Hobbs, you're right. Trump's going on Rogan on Friday. That's going to break the internet. That will be the greatest, biggest show of all time, internet show of all time at least. podcast of all time. It's going to break things. And what perfect timing. He's going on 10 days before the election, which is enough time to still gear up some people to vote. And there's not really any undecideds anymore, but what there are is that if there are any undecideds, which I highly doubt, but if there are anybody just on that middle, just looking for something, but most likely it's not the undecideds it'll bring out. It'll just bring out more people who weren't going to vote, which is even better because that's just all in the column for Trump. And you're going to get the stoners, the people who like the conspiracy stuff on Rogan, like chilling, listening to Rogan. That is going to fire them up. It really is. And Joe's going to be, I think, very favorable to Trump. He likes Trump. And now Trump has basically Rogan's heroes on there, which is Tulsi and RFK. So it's going to be a fantastic show. And it's got 10 days, which is plenty of time to actually cause, even if it's a hint of momentum, even if it's 0.1%, that is still adding, it's just piling on this massive momentum that's been on. And it's exciting. It's exciting how this is all going down. It really feels like this is all coming together in a special way. Kevin Miller says, in Arizona, the Democratic Party is complaining on local channels. Only 5% Democrat mail-in ballots have been cast. That is absolutely huge. Yeah, Hero, I saw that the rally goers with the Jesus is Lord and Kamala kicked him out. Yeah, that was nuts. What's up, Fro Girl? Trump made Republicans cool again. He didn't just make us cool again. He made Republicans, he transformed Republicans from elites to, and then kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a controlled opposition party, very weak in many ways, with just where some outsiders would fit in. But the Democrats got worse and worse and worse. And so what Trump did is so brilliant. The Republican Party is now everything that was good about the Republican Party before, which is the idea of wanting smaller government, not as small as libertarians, but still smaller government. Like family values much higher than on the Democratic side, that kind of stuff. He took those things and then he brought in the best parts of the left, which is the anti-war stuff, except with strength, which is how Trump's going to do it. He's going to have a strong military, but without interventionism. He brought that over. He brought a little populist flavor, which the left used to have. So he married the two, and he's created this new party that's left the Democrats with nothing. They have nothing good anymore. There is nothing good on the Democratic side. They have the scraps. They got the worst of the Republicans, which is the neocon side of things, and the elitism, and they got and then they kept all the crappy parts about being Democrat, which is super big government, nanny state, no morals, and he radicalized them. And we basically have an American party now and a communist party. That's it, or a secular humanist party, however you want to call it. But that's what we have now. And I'm telling you guys, the longer this goes on, the MAGA party is only going to grow stronger. Eventually, things will change again in a few years. The Democrats or a new party will rise up and they'll have new ideas and stuff, and people will debate all those. But Trump pushed them in a corner, and it really all the rot came out, and now the Republican Party is something very special that we might not see again in our lifetime. This might last 10, 15 years, and then it phases out and we go back to a little bit of politics as normal, but two parties that maybe love America with different ideas, which is the way it should be. And that's fine. But right now we're experiencing something special. We're experiencing a unifying, which we may never see again. So the John Mitch Club, crooked Kamal earlier in AOC. That's great. Cox, you got Spotify for Trump interview. Beautiful. It's going to be awesome, man. LA Times refused to endorse the Democrat candidate first time since Kerry in 2004. I saw that. Yeah. Trump isn't Jewish. What are you talking about? Sebastian, that's a very strange thing to say. John goes, what was the last time Republicans won the popular vote? Bush in 2004. He got 51% against Kerry. Moody, do I think Kamala will show up for work when she has to verify election results in January? I don't know. She might be hungover. She has to do it, I think, but Yeah, pretty crazy. Tulsi rocks. Yeah, she does. All right, let me keep moving here because there's definitely more things I want to get through. Let me close some of these first, though, so free up some memory on my computer in case I want to pull up other stuff. All right, so, well, Kamal's drunk and hungover, need a break, and then we got Joey here. Joey's rambling, and he's saying some crazy stuff. Let me skip ahead a little bit. I think it's right here. We don't need to hear the whole thing if I'm meandering, but this is some wild to hear 2 weeks in, 2 weeks left in the election.
Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We gotta lock him up.
We gotta lock him up.
Politically lock him up.
I mean, what the hell is that? So, one of two things is going on here. Either Biden is purposefully helping Trump get even more momentum. Because this is not exciting anybody except for the crazies at that rally or whatever he's at. It's not a rally. There's 7 people in the crowd from the sound of it. But the other thing is it's showing how desperate they are, that they're starting to call out. They are ramping up the rhetoric. I don't know if you guys noticed that. They're pushing this this hoax about the enemy within. Trump's going to kill us all. He's going to use the military against us. They're running that. But by the way, Trump did mention Adam Schiff when he said that. So I'm like, okay, Trump is feeling himself. He's feeling pretty confident about how this is going. But so that's one of the only things that make sense to me. Biden's either freaking out about this and they are maybe going to try something in the last couple of weeks, which is not going to work. At this point, the people would revolt and we would go down. If they knocked out Trump unfairly right now, took him out, arrested him, put him away before the election, broke the election that way, I'm telling you, we'd storm Washington, D.C. That's how it's going to go. Like, this is, it's not going to happen. Because the early voting is insane. How it is, Democrats are freaking out everywhere. I'm watching all these shows and listening to all this podcast. I'm listening to the left right now too, which is not always easy to do. Trust me. They think differently over there. Let me say that. But they're scared. You can hear it. And they are trying to come up with every excuse for why things aren't as bad as they seem, even though they're horrific. And it's falling apart. It really is for them. It's collapsing. And at this point, the early vote is coming in so strong for Republican in ways that we never could have expected before. It's going to be an early night. And I'm going to show you some experts saying that later in the show as well to back it up. But expect the next 2 weeks to ramp up. But at the same time, it feels like Trump is so strong now that it's just like in the thumbnail. He's like Neo, just putting out his hand and stopping the bullets like it's easy. So it's a wild thing to see. It really is. Darday, the White House channel banned you from posting comments. I can see your comments, Darday. Dom Luker warns Eminem he's been selected to be exposed. Oh, that'll be interesting. Jojo went to vote today in Bear County. Oh, I used to live in Bear. Proud to be able to vote for Trump. There are many unopposed Democrats judges. What in the heck? Why are there no Republican judges? I don't know. That's a Texas. I mean, get it going. I don't know, Jojo. That's strange. Brett, Biden without a teleprompter. It's as risky as him going up the stairs of an airplane rolling without his defense. Living on the edge. I like that. Honey Badger, what's up? John Cox, Brian looks like he's nearing death's door. Odd Trump wins and Kamala takes over after election. There has been some talk of them, even on the Democrat side, trying to take him out so they can install Kamala. Now, they won't do it before the election at this point. I mean, I think the odds are less than 1% because they need to campaign, because they got to pray and hope to God they can get the turnout up so they can at least try to make it look if they steal it, that it might have actually gone that way. So so they have to keep her on the campaign trail, even though she's bombing right now. But after the election, it's possible. It's possible they install Kamala and try to really do some crazy stuff before Trump comes in, is inaugurated. Anything's possible after the election, guys. But now we have 2 weeks till. There's only so much that can happen in 2 weeks. Now, I know a lot can happen, but at the same time, it's not as much as they need to happen, even if they installed her. They waited too long. Their timing is terrible on this stuff. Plus, we know the Democrats are fighting within. The Bidens hate Kamala. I mean, even Jim Gaffigan joked about it at the Al Smith dinner, that there are actual closet Trump voters who don't tell you they'll vote for Trump, but vote behind the scenes. They won't tell you. And he said, and it's the Bidens. I mean, so people know, it's very well known that the Bidens are fighting with the Kamalas. I mean, listen to me, the Harris wing of the party. But then also, it looks like Obama is on the side of Biden at this point, after that conversation we saw them have last week. So I don't know, pretty crazy stuff. Nothing can stop what's coming, says Toe Cramp. I believe that's how it's looking. Brett, when you have 190K Amish now registered to vote, that leftist BS coming to an end. Yeah, in Pennsylvania for sure. Ryan Edberg voted and made America great today. I love it. Pollyanna, if Kamala was installed, she wouldn't do any of that stuff. She said people would see it. She can't afford that. That's right. Not before the election. You're 100% right. Butters, if Biden steps down after the election, they can install Kamala. Yeah. Say she's the first woman. They might pull that off. Yeah. I voted on Saturday too, guys. I'll tell you, in North Carolina, it's like, I'm right outside Charlotte. So like a 50-50 area, not super liberal, not super conservative. But I'll tell you what, it was almost all Republicans there. It was. They were all grabbing. The way I could tell is because in line they had the Democrat voting guide and the Republican voting guide, and everybody was grabbing that Republican one. So it was very good. And it was mostly, it was like 50-50 black voters, black and white. So it was pretty crazy. Kamala counts the votes. She does. But you know what? They made it illegal for the vice president to have any power on January 6th now when they count the votes. They changed the law after Trump, and they made it so a vice president no longer has any power to do anything except count the votes on that day. So she's not going to be able to do anything. Silver going to 50 by the end of the year. I mean, what did it break 35 today, right? Yeah, pretty crazy. All right, this story is nuts, okay? It's not a huge story, but I had to share it because it's just so emblematic of what's going on here. So this is being shared all over X, and it's this, let me amplify this. It's a post from Reddit from a bunch of witches on this area called Witches versus the Patriarchy. Of course, they're just a bunch of angry chicks. What's up, witches? But check this out, what it says here. They say, some other witches have mentioned that doing spells directly against Trump are not as effective as we might hope, as he seems to have some kind of protection around him. Huh. Yeah, you think so? That's called Jesus, baby. And in the Bible it says, what God has blessed, no man can curse. So I'm telling you, they're trying to throw stuff on him, and it ain't sticking. And again, I mean, this is the kind of stuff I like to see, even though not everybody's on board with this. That's fine. I don't care. I'm sharing it as a story that's interesting. But they say a freezer spell against Project 2025 would likely be useful. Nobody's even using Project 2025. These people are so stupid. But I want to give the Cheeto any more attention right now. He hates to be ignored, right? LOL. Ho, 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 ho. But a lot of people are taking opportunity to protection, uplifting kinds of spells to help Kamala and the Democrats, and yeah. But the main thing I wanted to share there was that apparently there's this big movement of these witch chicks hanging out trying to curse Trump, and they're encountering opposition in the spirit realm, which, that just gave me the warm and fuzzies to see. I just love that kind of stuff. And I don't know, like, your guys' beliefs, whatever, but I learned a long time ago that once you're good with the big guy, they can't hurt you. They can't hurt you. And so there's no need to have any fear of that stuff. And this is just more proof of that. I love it. Everything's failing. They're trying to shoot him. It fails. They try to lock him up. It fails. They try to bankrupt him. It fails. They try to lie about him. It fails. Nobody believes it. And now they're trying to curse him. It fails. This man he's the one, man. He's definitely chosen. And it's not just that God, chose him, because it's not that simple. I think there's some of that, but it's also that the people chose him, and God is with the people, and God's like, yeah, this is your guy. You're all praying for him. I'm answering those prayers. And so, this is just more proof to me that whatever they're going to try to throw out in the last couple of weeks, it's going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart. It's going to backfire on them like it always does. So whatever they pull out, it's not something to be scared about. It's time to be excited. We can't jump ahead of things. That's, I'm not popping champagne yet because this battle's not over. But what we can do is look at everything happening, do our part, and walk from victory knowing we are going to win this. We are. We haven't done it yet. It's not time to celebrate yet. But we all do our part. We're going to pull this off, guys. It's happening. And you know what? Hey, you guys who stay at the end of all these lives, you guys pray with me every night to protect Trump. And this is just proof as well that our prayers are working. So pretty cool stuff. I love seeing that. Yeah, armor of God. Absolutely, Alan. Absolutely. Is the stream fuzzy? I hope not. That's not fun. Honey Badger, here Kamala talking about the duality of democracy as above, so below. Seems satanic. I haven't seen that, but I would look into that if I saw it. Check your paper ballots because people reported their vote for Trump flipped to Harris. Yeah, if you can get a receipt on your ballot or check after it's run through, definitely watch it. Some of the spiritual opposition gets the shorts. Right? Teflon Don. Trying to curse someone will backfire on the people do it. Yes, it can. Balaam didn't want to curse the Israelites because he knew they were blessed in the Old Testament. I believe that's book of Joshua or Judges. And anyways, he won't do it. Oh, no, it's Numbers. Yeah. And he won't do it because he knew they were blessed. And so the guy's like, well, I paid you to curse them. He's like, I'm not going to do it. They'll fall back on me. He's always like, well, just don't bless them then. I love it, man. The Bible's funny when you know what it's saying. Toe cramp. So many satanic attacks are pretty easy to overcome with a rebuke. Yeah, you don't even need the rebuke most of the time. Toe cramp. You just say I don't receive that, and that's how most of it goes. But yes, you're right. Brett, did I see Trump went to a Steelers game on Sunday? Yes. Yeah, and the WNBA Finals game was her demographic. No, I watched somebody talk about that. It was a Democratic strategist talk about Trump at the Steelers game, and she said it made her nervous because they always she said they tell their candidates no concerts, no sports games, and the reason is they don't want to ever risk the booze, and so it's a well-known thing, I guess, in campaign strategy: no concerts, no sports events. And she said it made her nervous because Trump went there and got almost no booze. They were all drowned out. The crowd went wild for him. And that's what made her nervous. He had the balls to show up when they tell their candidate not to do it, and they all cheered for him. So huge, huge opportunity. Rumdog, how can CNN call themselves a news network? They reported Rhino General Milley called Trump a fascist was his only opinion. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you, Hero, for reminding me. Yeah, guys, if you don't mind, like, share, subscribe. Let's break this channel out there. This last 2 weeks of election coverage, I'm going to be here as much as possible because it's just going to be nonstop news. And help me get that stuff out there, like the interview last night, where we can help educate people about what's going on in the U.S. from a bigger perspective, going back to the past, have people like Jonathan on and Buzz Patterson, really trying to expand my guest list, and have another guest who might be coming on here soon that I'm really excited about. And he's going to talk economics and the stock market. So you guys will like that one. It's not Ham. It's somebody else I've never had before. So that'll be really good too. hoping to get him on soon. But Jonathan will be coming back. He already confirmed that, and I'm going to try to get Buzz back as well. So if you guys like those interviews, please like, share, subscribe, and it helps me grow and keep getting them out there. So the interviews helps. Me being at almost 5,000 subs opens up doors for me that I would not have had before. So that's another reason the subscribers help. Hobbs, I see Trump with those Latino leaders do a big prayer with everybody surrounding him. I don't think I saw that one. And last night when I did that interview with Jonathan, Trump was 5 minutes down the road from me. He was in Concord, North Carolina for a faith leaders gathering last night. I had the chance to go. I actually had tickets, and I couldn't get out of work early enough. So, and then also I had the interview with Jonathan, so I would have had to leave early anyways. But yeah, I missed it. I'm bummed. I think I missed my last chance to see a Trump rally in person, which is a bummer. But as long as he wins, that's what matters. For the rally, they had a roundtable with Latinos and prayed for him. That's awesome. The guest last night was Mashful. Well, that's great. I'm glad you guys like that. Yep, Butters, he's coming on Friday. So, all right, let me keep moving here. So, Rich Baris, who's my favorite pollster guy who understands the polls and all the demographic stuff, how they work, just really analyzes the snot out of these in a great way. He says... This David Marcus writes, I'm starting to get unusual and uncomfortable blowback when I talk to Democrats. And Rich says, wait until the weekend. It's going to get worse. Yep. Oh, it's going to get so much worse. She is in full on free fall collapse right now. Everything she does is not working. And you can see the frustration in Kamala and the campaign people as she's out there. You can see they're starting to feel the fear. A lot of them are still in denial about what's happening right now. But the truth is, if these trends hold up for a couple more days that have been going on, we're looking at landslide. We are. That's just a fact. Because on election day, Democrats never show up the way Republicans do. They just don't. And that trend's not going to flip. So the fact that the Republicans are catching up in the early vote is nuts. This is the kind of stuff we're seeing. Nevada Republicans are currently surging in the early vote. Right now in rural counties, GOP leads Democrats 73% to 11 for early voting. That's even crazier when you figure that the other 16% are independents, mostly trend to the right. And independents have been voting trending to the right at 60 to 65% for Trump this election. So that is nuts, guys. Even the mail-in Nevada is 46 to 28% in favor of Republicans right there. If this becomes a trend, it will be over. If they get Nevada, guys, I think if Nevada goes this big to Trump, I think it's also going to pull New Mexico and Virginia. It's just going to keep growing. YouTube link to my ex-life. Okay, Hobbs, I'll look at it in a little bit. Patrick Byrne, that would be great. Okay, Patrick. No, Patrick Byrne is still too big for me. Plus, he's out of the country right now. Alan, Alabama loves Trump being at games because they win them games. Georgia, Alabama, yep. Moody, I was trying to find Trump's rally schedule. Couldn't find it. Is he doing a rally in Michigan first week in November for the election? He might be. I don't think his schedule is posted that far in advance anymore, Moody. For one, they don't want people to know where he's going to be for, assassination attempt purposes. I got the event notification that he was coming to Concord just 3 days before he came. And that was not enough time for me to make my plans to show up. I tried. I got the tickets. They're free, but I did register, but I wasn't able to make it because it was only 3 days ahead. And I think it's going to be more like that, like Poppins. So it's hard to plan it. But he likely is going to visit Michigan before the end. So I just keep an eye out on that. She's going to be erased from the Democratic Party, says Butters. Oh yeah, they'll get rid of her. Once a Democrat loses an election, unless you're the Clintons and already had power because Bill won, they usually toss you out to the side. Al Gore made a name with himself with the climate science stuff in the documentaries. But listen, he did that all on his own. They celebrated him, and then they still threw him out. They were like, "Thanks, Al! Yay! Okay, goodbye now." That's like, did you guys ever see that South Park with Al Gore when he's warning everybody of Man Bear Pig? And it's like, and they're all just like, guys, be nice to Al Gore. He just needs a friend. He just wants friends, guys. The South Park guys, as usual, way ahead of it. But yeah, Al Gore, they just kicked him to the curb. The Democrats hate their losers. The only one they keep celebrating, for some reason I cannot understand, is Stacey Abrams. You know, the gap-toothed walrus. They love that woman, even though she's a total loser, has never won anything. All of her strategies fail, and it's all because she came close to being governor once in Georgia, and they celebrate her like she won everything. It's ridiculous. But all the other losers, they pretty much kick to the curb. Vinman, NYC hotels inhabited by illegals are considering themselves to be embassies, have the right to ban cops. That's unreal, man. That's crazy. Paulion, you're rooting for Virginia. People aren't paying as much attention as they should. It's a swing state. I agree. The last Rasmussen poll had it within 3, and they're going to go back and do this. So what does it say about my character if I can support a man not having any? I don't know. You support Doug Emhoff, I'm guessing, right? He slapped a woman in public. Do you support Tim Walz, who likes killing babies at the 9th month? You support Kamala Harris, who slept her way to the top, who locked up people unfairly, including grandmas for their kids not going to school. She kept people with nonviolent crimes who were supposed to get out. She denied them getting out on time so she could keep them for free work. I don't know, Eddie. Talk to me about character. The Democratic Party sure as shit doesn't have any. Eminem cross-dressing. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Half man, half bear, half pig. Was Governor Gretchen Whitmer drinking with Kamala? I don't know. I think that woman's drunk all the time too. She's a witch. That woman's straight up a witch. You can see it in her eyes. That Gretchen Whitmer, there's some dark in that woman. And I pray to God. Actually, after this, the Democratic Party is pretty much done. So, but I'm glad they didn't run her, because she is more. What's the word? She's more charismatic. She would have ran a better campaign than Kamala, had a better chance, but she didn't want to, or they didn't want her. One of those. Hobbs, I saw you. Right, man. Did you get cut off? Brett, they should come up with a new place called Ozland. Kamala can run for president there and be the wicked witch she is, but then again, she might get appointed by the Oompa Loompas. Oh my God, you're really going for it tonight, huh, Brett? All right. Here we go. Firewall data should be turning around any day now, huh? So do you guys understand what the firewall is? The firewall is when they get so many votes banked ahead of the election. So early votes and mail-in. They get so many banked that they have hundreds and thousands ready to go, and that they can push that all in on election day after the day of voting, and that swings elections in the night. And before 2020, it swung them in the early night. Now in 2020, they banked so much they could swing it late in the night. Pennsylvania had a firewall of 1.2 million in 2020. This time ain't happening, because the early voting is so red this year that they're not getting any firewall. I think Pennsylvania's is down from 1.2 million to barely breaking 400,000 this year. That, my friends, is 800,000 less in a state where Biden won, I think, by 30,000. He barely broke it out at the end there. So you do the math. That's 30,000 minus 800,000. That's a deficit of 770,000 votes. They're not going to do it. Here is the polymarket odds for each state right now. Arizona 74%, Georgia 71%, Nevada 63% now. Pennsylvania's up to 61%, Michigan 58%, Wisconsin 57%. It's every day as the numbers come in, people are seeing more and more, and they're putting that money down, saying, they're not going to do this. Here we go. A lot of talk on early vote this year, mostly dooming from Dems, giddy Republicans. This guy said, I want to state that right now this is looking like a national version of public and Republican misreading. So this guy's talking about 2022. Will this be like 2022? But then Rich Baris responds to this. Where is it? Oh, man. I think I messed this up. Hold on a second. I had it ready to go, and I lost the tweet. Sorry, guys. This is a live show part. This is where it's like Saturday Night Live, you know, when they break character and laugh. That's kind of what happens when I screw up here. I have it. Where is it? Where is it? Because I didn't mean to just show that by itself. Aha! Found it. Okay. Bad takes is Rich. Republicans won. I love Rich because he always responds with data, not opinion, with data. He always backs it up. It says Republicans won 75% of the Biden-Youngkin districts in 2023 and swung the statewide vote by 8 points. Virginia. Okay, when Youngkin won, Republicans won. Shocked the world in 2023. That's a swing Democrats can't afford nationally, let alone in the 7 key battleground states. In fact, similar swings would almost certainly flip Minnesota. So this guy's out there saying, oh, this is like 2022, it'll flip around. And Rich flat out says, yeah, no, that's actually not the trend. The trend is what happened in Virginia in 2023 is that these were all flipped. 8-point flip in Virginia, and a similar swing could almost flip Minnesota. By the way, Minnesota on Real Clear Politics now is officially a toss-up state. They have taken off the blue. We could flip Minnesota for the first time in 42 years. 52 years, excuse me. My math. Yeah, 52 years, we might see Minnesota flip. If they flip Minnesota, the Democrats are going to be in such a spiral after this. They're not going to have the energy to do too much damage because they're going to be so shellacked. They're going to be, you know, ring that bell. Boom. It's like knocking them out. It's like a Tyson punch. They're going to be so done if they lose Minnesota. They won't know what to do with themselves. Paulion, don't forget Kamala pissed on the votes of Democrat primary voters and was installed. Yeah, exactly. Female Iranian spy still working at White House, says Vinman. What's that story? I don't know that one. Robert Kapke, your son you voted today in Arizona. You're shocked how thorough they were about proof of residency. Surprising good way. That's awesome. Yeah, North Carolina, we did voter ID, which was very welcome. I was happy to show my ID and see them do that with everybody. So that was great. And Robert, that's awesome because Arizona is one of the real scary ones. If they're doing that, by the way, Robert, are you in, do you happen to be in Maricopa or anywhere near Maricopa? Because that would make me feel even better. But anyways, let's keep moving. All right, remember, the scary stuff about the hurricane in North Carolina affected 500,000 Republican voters, wondering if they're going to be able to get their vote in. Well, here's how it's looking so far. NC11 numbers from first 4 days of West North Carolina early voting. West North Carolina, where all this flooding and horrific stuff happened. 2024 versus 2016. Let's just round up. 92,000 early voters in person, plus 31,500 total early voters. Republicans up 13,300. Unaffiliated up 14,800. By the way, unaffiliated is going to break for Trump 60-70%. Okay. Democrats negative 3,000 almost. 5 fewer voting sites and Republicans are still breaking records. I told you guys this was going to fire up North Carolina. These people would not be dissuaded to vote. In fact, they'd be even more galvanized. And now we are seeing the truth. This is amazing. This is amazing. North Carolina is going to go for Trump by 5 to 8 points. I'm telling you right now. Avery County, one of the hardest hits. Republicans plus 560. Democrats negative 100. These are tiny counties, guys. Okay. Yancey County, 2,000 homes lost in massive devastation. Republicans plus 300, Democrats minus 200. Buncombe, largest Dem voting county in huge devastation. Republicans plus 370, Democrats minus 700. Largest Dem voting county in West North Carolina, guys. Negative 700 early voters for Democrats. Henderson, largest Republican voting county and people still stranded. Democrats plus 1,000, but Republicans plus 2,700. Unbelievable. This is huge. Absolutely huge. Cooper's, which is not being able to hex Trump because he's divinely protected, is the best endorsement. Right? Yeah, I know that other guy. Who was that guy? Eddie Turner. What's it say about my? What's it say about our character if I could support a man not having a? Well, the guy's protected from a witch's curses. So there you go, bud. Apparently God likes him. So maybe you're on the wrong side, Eddie. Maybe you're on the wrong side. You ever think about that? So now it says we're under attack, and NC North Carolina knows we're at war. Oh man, they know it better than probably most of the country. Speaking of that, I'm going to play this thing right here that I was going to save for later, but it actually works well if we go right now. This is just sick. Speaking of North Carolina, here's our governor. This governor is awful. He's a Democrat. I don't know why North Carolina was stupid enough to. I wasn't here yet, so it's not my fault. Why we were stupid enough to vote in a Democrat governor while still voting for Trump in a very red Republican legislature, but we did, and I don't know what happened there. But anyways, this guy confirms certain areas will not be rebuilt, and they're buying out entire communities affected by climate change. It's exactly what everybody said with BlackRock and everything. They came in, and now they're buying up the land. They devastated these people's homes, and now they're not going to let them rebuild. He says we've spent a lot of time on the way we approach rebuilding. In some areas, you just shouldn't build back. That's BS. You know, the odds are of flooding in the mountains like once every 150 years. That's not. Look at Florida builds back and they'll get a hurricane next year. It's like this is such a joke. We've been able to convince certain communities and people that buyouts are better. This is so evil, man. He also says we know these events will become more and more intense. Yeah, BS. Land grab is real. So there you go, guys. This evil man, a Democrat, stealing the people's land. So there it is. And it's happening in North Carolina right now, but we're going to fight back and get rid of this. I am scared we're not going to elect the Republican governor here this time, Mark Robinson, because of, well, let's just be honest, because I'm in the South in North Carolina, and there's still a little bit of racism going on. That's the only reason not to vote for him. They're going to say it's about abortion because he's a pastor or about like his scandal. But I'm telling you, in the age of Trump, those scandals don't matter as much, especially when they're 20, 25 years ago. But, and the abortion thing is whatever in the Bible Belt, but he's a black guy. And the fact that he's pulling like 10 points behind Trump when he's pretty strong and fiery, I like him a lot. Yeah, there's definitely some racism still. So that's the sad part about, you know, the reality of stuff, but it's not like in your face fighting, you know, racism. It's more covert and it's ugly. And I hate to see it. So we're not going to get a Republican governor probably in North Carolina unless Trump carries North Carolina by like 8-9 points, but which is possible. But so we're going to get another evil guy like this. But hopefully the Republican legislature can mostly protect us. Barbara got home for birthday dinner. Congrats to you. 2 weeks from today, you get my gift, November 5th, President Trump in the White House. I love it. Robert says, still believe the largest cheese, Dominion tabulars. Yeah, and unfortunately, I think Arizona kept them, right, Robert? Hopefully it's still not enough. They've approached your father about buying his property, says Brett. The power just came on less than a week ago. No different than California and the wildfires. They keep rebuilding them. Yeah, they should rebuild them. Governorship in NC was probably stolen like in Wisconsin. It's possible. It is possible. Watauga County, vacation house for your dad. You told him to pound salt. Good for him, man. Good for him. That's awesome. Greg says, I'm in Glendale. Curious to see consistency. Yeah, we need Arizona. I think it'll be too overwhelming for them to steal it in Arizona, but, you know, we do have to be on guard. Speaking of Arizona, Praying Medic, one of my favorite pundits out there in Arizona. He says, Republican lead in Maricopa County early voting, pedal to the metal. Look at this. Early voting in Maricopa County. Maricopa County went to Biden last year, flipped Arizona. It went so far for Biden. 158,000 Republicans, which is plus 21,000 votes early voting for Maricopa County. 137 Dems. That is a 21,000 edge over Democrats. Plus, I'm telling you, the independent vote's going 55 to 65% Trump. maybe higher in some areas, maybe 70% in a redder state. So this is going to be a blowout. It's going to be a blowout. Robert says he finally believes in man-made climate change. HARP, lasers, chemtrails. I know. Robert, the waking up process isn't fun, is it? When you start realizing a lot of the crazy stuff is true, it's not fun, but it happens. New Royals, what is up? What's up, man? New Royals is an old friend of mine. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing out there, man? I'm a blowout. Thanks, man. I love it. All right, let's keep going. The good kind. Love it. Not the Kamala kind. Rich Baris says, the early voting is getting so out of control. He says, if this keeps up until end of day today, then early voting will have gotten considerably worse for Democrats in most states. Really have to wonder how bad and for how long this will keep up. Again, the trends are crazy. It is just, it's destroying them. And it's great to watch. Toe Cramp, use ESS voting software here in Florida. You compare photo ID with the person standing in front of us. Make them sign a signature pad and compare the signature ID. That's awesome. We should do that everywhere. And that's why Florida has gone like 20 points to DeSantis. Is going to go for Trump by like 10 points or more. I mean, Florida, remember, Florida used to be so purple. It would go blue, go red. You never knew. And when it went, it barely went in either direction. And now Florida is a flat, dark, bloody red state. And it's amazing. But a lot of it is because of reform. DeSantis in 2018 barely won his election. He almost lost to that Andrew Gillum guy, who that guy was hooking up with dudes and doing all kinds of nasty stuff. I mean, he almost lost to him. So it's amazing how fast Florida's changed around. Yeah, we'll get to DJT at the end, Moody. It's looking great. Trend is your friend. Exactly, Alan. Yeah, so you want the trend, and you want it right now. So Kamala peaked too early, and now Trump is hitting this massive trend going up. Everybody's turned out to vote. People are excited to vote for him. It is trending up, 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 and he's closing strong. This will be the strongest close he's ever had, and he closed strong in 2016. Totally shocked everybody when he beat Hillary, and it really was in those last few weeks when he gained a lot of momentum. Closed strong in 2020, and really threw off. I mean, we all know what happened there, but at the same time, like, they weren't expecting it to even be as close as it was. All right, so and now he's pulling off the masterclass. This will be his masterpiece. He's it's like in the movie Man on Fire. It's like, what's his name? Denzel. He's like Denzel. He's painting his masterpiece when he's talking about going on how he's gonna kill all the guys that stole the little girl. Yeah, it's great. What's preventing Democrats switching votes for Dominion? Great question, Vince. Dominion is not in most states now, and several places got rid of Dominion. So that's number one. Number two is everybody's watching, so that'll help a lot. Keeping tabs on stuff, making sure. And then the other thing is just overwhelming the polls. You overwhelm the polls so much, people won't accept a cheat. They know they can only do so much. If Kamala Harris goes in and she wins 54% of the popular vote and gets an electoral landslide with all this happening leading up to it, all the polls showing how close it is, all the battleground states going red in the polls, everybody, what they've seen, how people showed up, it'll be completely rejected. So it's a lot that goes in, but that's how we beat them. What happens if there's a cyber attack on election day disabling voting machines? We'll deal with it. That's the only thing. We'll deal with it. They cannot stop the election. So what they'll probably have to do legally is they'll have to go to paper ballots, and everybody will fill that out, and they'll just say it's going to take longer to count or whatever because they won't be able to process them. And yeah, that's what happens. I mean, so it might take a little longer, but it honestly might even make it more secure. Democrats flipping because Camel Toby tripping. I like that. Pennsylvania by 6%, says Sean Walker. That would be awesome. And I actually think you're right. I listened to, what's his face? Sean Ketchel the other day. And he said that the trends in Pennsylvania right now are the same trends that were happening in Ohio right before Ohio broke red and has stayed dark red ever since. And that's what he says happening in Pennsylvania right now. So Kamala didn't peak. She never peaked. Like you think Willie Brown did. That's funny. Moody, I hope there'll be people watching the polls through the night for those big vans walking in to the back door of the polls. I agree. And there will be, Moody. Nobody feels safe about this election. Okay. Nobody on the right side. I saw a poll the other day that said that something like 88% of Republicans or 83% of Republicans are expecting some cheating in this election, stealing attempts. 80 to 80, somewhere in that range, low to mid high 80s. That's insane. And it said, this is the crazy part, even like over 40% of Democrats expect it. So what does that tell you? It tells you everybody's watching this election very carefully. And I'm sorry, but once you've been exposed, it's much, much harder to get away with stuff. I really think that even if they steal it on election day, it'll be fought and overturned. I do. I don't think the people will accept it. I really don't. Yeah, praying medic's awesome, Krapke. Stella says we need to get away from the electronic voting machines. Paper's the only way. Eventually, I agree. Hopefully by the next election, we'll be there. All right. This is sending shockwaves through the establishment and the media because this is Gallup. Everybody respects Gallup. They are the OG, and they still are very, they're still very accurate. And they put out today that Trump, for the first time ever in one of his electoral cycles, is at 50% favorable in the positive, and his opponent is in the negative. That's never happened before. First election he's entered with a positive favorability rating. This is the kind of thing that just the Democrats see, and they just can't believe it. They're like, all that we've done, and this is what we're getting? What the heck? And they just hate us, They hate us for it. Tokram says, Seth Ketchel, he's tall, met him in real life, should be a cell phone tower. I like that. Kasink says, McCormick tied with Casey for Senate, Pennsylvania. I actually think he took the lead. We'll look at that in a minute. All right. Nate Silver, again, kind of a hack, but you pay attention when he goes red because, Nate Silver doesn't like to go red. But that means it's so overwhelmingly in Trump's favor right now, he can't help himself. And it keeps growing in that favor. So he says strong day of state polling for Trump, leads in high-quality polls of Georgia and Nevada, where early voting numbers look promising for Republicans. He can't help himself. He has to say it. He has to say it. So that's just another huge showing. Okay, so what are they going to try to do to stop this? Well, The Atlantic dropped a report today on Trump. I need the kind of generals that Hitler had and said all this stuff about Mexicans, all false. And it's already been debunked within hours of being put out there. Rich Baris reports, within minutes, family members denounced this report. People interviewed are claiming they offered comments debunking this story, and he excluded them. This dude's on par with Stephen Glass and Jason Blair. I don't know if you guys remember Stephen Glass. He wrote a story back in the early 2000s that was completely fabricated, and anyways, it was a big deal. But the other thing Baris says in another tweet is that they're shopping around a story on Trump right now that's supposed, and Mark Halperin said this on his show too. He said they approached him with it, and they're shopping around a story right now that Mark Halperin said would end Trump's campaign if it's true. But that tells me it's not true. It took 9 years for you guys to finally come up with this 2 weeks before the election. There's no way whatever they're going to unleash is true. So I'm very interested to see what they're trying to get out there. But here's the deal. Most people are hearing this story and rejecting it, and they're not going to report it. So it's got to be very huge. But this also means that somebody's going to run with it. Somebody who is less credible. And so it'll get debunked fast. But anyways, be ready. because in the next week we're probably going to see something, some major story on Trump come out. They're going to try to attack him with. Hogan asked, will Rogan appearance give Trump a bump? It will. Nothing huge because it's so late in the game, but it'll definitely help him. Yeah. Antonio Brown's a poll watcher. That guy's crazy. I love him though. He is not stable. That's very true, Butters. Joe said he wants to lock on. Yeah, Gomez. I covered that earlier. Yep. Pretty crazy stuff. All right. Well, guys, the good news for us that have investing in DJT is that it is moving with the Trump momentum. Today, it almost broke over 34. It's getting really exciting. And then we had this shared. So a lot of manipulation going on it. George P. shares this on Twitter. These alerts that came up for him. It rose above 60. Rose above 57, rose above 60, rose above 80, rose above 100. Isn't that interesting? All at 217. So why is the system doing that? I don't know. Well, we know DJT is heavily, heavily shorted. And I think, especially Trump finishes this job, which I think he's going to do, it's a really good opportunity to make some quick cash here. Because think about, and that's not financial advice. It's just my own opinion. I'm in DJT. And for me, it's like, if I'm a short and I'm in DJT and I'm watching that this guy is gaining momentum and he's about to become president and he's going to have all the power, to come after me, and I'm trying to destroy his company, his stock, you better believe I'm trying to figure out an exit strategy right now. So that's how I feel about it. And since in the last month, DJT's gone from $12 to peaking over 34. It's at 34.65 in after hours, says Moody. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to get exciting, in my opinion. I would not be surprised if we break, if we break 50 by the election, and maybe higher. We might even get a huge breakout. All right, I want to finish on a couple of these clips here, because this is the experts. So this is Rasmussen's head pollster, Mark Mitchell. I want to play what he's saying, and then I got a couple others I want to play on the way out, because I just want you guys to hear what they're saying.
Just a final thing, because you are known and loved by our audience, Mark, and you were the first guy months ago. You came on this program the first time you came on, and you said, when everyone was laughing at you, saying, you declared Trump could win the national vote. He could win the popular vote. And you said it, and that clip went viral, and there's like a troll army, right, underneath. No one's laughing now, homie.
No, now that Fox News, a left-wing pollster, is showing that Trump is also winning the national popular vote. The New York Times came out with a similar result. Atlas, Intel, and Trafalgar are right there with us, and everybody else is creeping back to the right. When NBC goes from Harris +5 to a tie in like a month, when now Tip, who's doing the only other people doing a daily tracker, goes from Harris +4 to Trump +2 in a week, I mean, my numbers haven't changed. I don't know. Everybody is coming to where I'm at. And we were right. Like, not a single time has Harris or Biden in the last year ever beaten Donald Trump. And I've been saying that, and everybody knows I've been saying that. And horrible Biden administration. Everybody's hurting. All the fundamentals, it's so obvious. And even now that every single other sign is validating exactly what they found, they still can't bring themselves to say it. They still can't. And it's like the absolute unified wall of Democrat media just trying to save a Senate seat or two, or doing whatever they can, or preventing that introspection, or trying to keep a hold of their highly gaslit viewers. I don't know what it is, but it's ugly, and it's going to get worse for them, because I think you're just going to see an absolute mental implosion.
Yeah, so you hear what he's saying, guys, that it's so bad right now, and it's so obvious to the pollsters doing the work. Baris has been on this. Seth Ketchell's talking about this. Mark Mitchell. I'm going to show you guys what Halpern said today. Wow. They're all saying it, that this is crazy that they're even talking like this race is still close. It is full on in the Trump angle. If this had been a regular election year, everybody would be talking about how there's there's basically almost no hope left for the Kamala Harris campaign. That's how bad things are right now. And he's been on it the whole time. Rasmussen was the third most accurate pollster in 2020 and 2016. So they have a lot of credence, even though the media hates them because they are a little more right of center. And they tend to do favorable polls for Trump and stuff. So anyways, they don't like him, but he's been more accurate. And he's just saying that everybody's seeing what they've been seeing all along. And it just makes you think how much of this has been fake. And then we had Atlas Intel come out this last weekend with they were the most accurate pollster of the last two election cycles, have Trump up 3. Trump up 3 means he could win 4 to 6 points in the popular vote, which is nuts. But when we see what's going on with the early vote, it's absolutely possible and absolutely could be way too big to rig. Now, this is the clip I've been looking forward to show you, and I wanted to end with a bang. But Mark Halperin today, I watch his show Two Way. It's excellent day-to-day, guys, analysis of what's going on because he talks to people. He's got Republican and Democrat strategists on there. Really good stuff. Halperin himself is probably center-left, not a Trump guy, but he's fair. He's old school journalist, does not want to inject his opinion, so he's honorable like that. But he's been starting to say, he was on Tucker last week saying that if Trump wins, there's going to be a mental breakdown on the left because they're not expecting it. And this is what he said today. And because of everything I just told you, this guy's not a Trump guy. He's not MAGA. He's not a Republican. When he says this, it's because he means it. Also, he was the first one to report that Biden was going to be dropped out and was completely accurate, got the whole story down. So this guy has lots of great insider info. And anyways, this was the first thing he said on his show this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Let's lead with the lead, as they say in journalism. If the early vote numbers stay the way they are, and that's a big if, we'll almost certainly know before Election Day who's going to win the election.
Before Election Day. That's how bad things are for Kamala. We could know before Election Day. Wow.
We're going to talk a lot about that. The reasons why Democrats might be underperforming, the prospect that they'll recover. But again, make no mistake, if these numbers hold up in the states where we can understand even partially what the data is like, we'll know that Donald Trump's going to be president on Election Day. So we're going to talk about that, but I didn't want to bury that because it's extraordinarily important. And
how crazy is that? Trump is so far ahead right now in early voting and everything that going into Election Day, it's going to be almost a guarantee he has it. This is a guy who knows it. And this also tells you guys, you can see it in the Democratic panic that Mark, he doesn't believe 2020 was stolen. He believes it was fair. And like in his analysis, it went the way mostly he was expecting. This guy's really smart. He's got lots of insiders. He knows the Democrats are panicking. He has Democratic strategists telling him this stuff. And it's just telling you that it is so overwhelming right now that they know they're not going to be able to take this one. And so the question is, what do they do as a result of that?
We got to track that day to day. That's more important than the polls right now. It's more important than almost anything because it's giving us insight into a variety of factors that are accounting for a Republican overperformance by various metrics in the early voting in the battleground state. Good morning, everybody. Let's lead.
So it's just huge. I mean, this guy is about as fair as it gets, unbiased as it gets, and as accurate as it gets. And this is what he's out there saying. Bold statements. He's not a man to make bold statements unless they're worth making. So I'm telling you guys, I feel better and better about this every day. Don't get me wrong, 2 weeks left. Let's see what they got. Let's see what they're going to throw at Trump. Let's see what they're going to try to pull. Obviously, we're starting to see signs that they got some plan. But again, remember everything we went through. All the signs of how Trump's been protected, how he keeps gaining whenever they go after him. All that, we didn't make it this far to lose. And we're going to see this through. Brett says, on DJT analysis, definitely keep an eye on volume as they've made no attempt to cover. That's very true. Small coverings, but nothing makes substantial. I agree. Frogirl, what are new numbers for DJT? I have no idea. It's impossible to tell. It's such a big stock with attention and stuff. I don't know, Frogirl. We'll have to go through it one night and see what. But I wouldn't expect anything massive anytime soon, at least during the election, but we're definitely going to see some good runs, in my opinion. Maybe, 50, 75, 100 is possible. So Hogan, Dems tripping over themselves trying to find October surprise. They are. They're going to try to throw something out there, but I don't think it's going to be something real, and I don't think it's going to be something that people accept. So Sean says Tulsi Gabbard came out as Republican today. That's absolutely right. Yep. 1 billion counterfeit shares of DJT is what we believe. Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. So, all right, guys, on that note, I'm going to call it. It's late. So much going on, but good stuff. Very exciting stuff. What we're seeing is just fantastically exciting for what we're hoping for to happen. So, I'll be back on tomorrow, do another stream, catch up with the news, go through the latest polling, voting numbers, all that stuff. Maybe we'll look at the Senate stuff tomorrow. That's getting really interesting. Our Republican chances of getting a lot of seats in the Senate going up. So let's close in a prayer, and then we'll take off for tonight. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody here. Thank you for this crowd, Lord, this amazing community you've put together here online, Lord. We just love them and thankful for them. And God, just pray for just protect Trump and everything. We pray for continued protection. We thank you for protecting him so far from all the attacks from different angles. And God, we just pray we see this through. We made it this far, 2 weeks in. Everything's trending in the right direction. I pray that nothing they try to throw at him gets even a hint of sticking. It all just, this momentum continues so that it is such overwhelming landslide on November 5th, God, that there's no way to take it away, no way to deny it, and no way to question any way it could have been cheated on the Trump side either. And so that's my prayer, Lord, because it's more easy for America to accept it if it's a massive landslide. So thank you, God, for everybody here. Bless them. Help us all make our good decisions coming forward in this volatility at crazy times. And just pray you prosper everybody, and pray for healing for Thomas, Mike, Jenny, and anybody else who needs it. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. Love you. Bless you guys. Have an awesome night, and I'll be back to do it all again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.